Welcome back for another video. A disaster game week, 36 points all out. One of the strongest teams I think I've fielded all season. Everyone had a pretty solid home fixture, besides the Man City triple up away at Forest, who all blanked as well. No clean sheet from City, Liverpool or Raya in goal, who all conceded once, and Timber not in the squad as well, which meant Mukiele off the bench, who did hit DEFCON at least for 4 points. Thank God it's a quick turnaround this week, because it's pretty mad how much the team underperformed really. Dubravka with the 11-point haul as well, though I was never going to start him over Raya, honestly. But well done if you did start Dubravka for that haul. The red arrow was so big that even if I'd gotten Dubravka and Anderson's points, I think it still would have been a red arrow. So yeah, the new rank is about 39k. The three players that came in were Cunha, Ekitike and Lefebvre, and they only got one assist between them. It was Bruno, Semenyo and Gue that left the team. So let's have a quick look at how you got on. Hopefully better than me. Oleg says, it's not much, but honest work. 81 points and a green arrow to 8.9k in the world. It's an incredible rank and score. He had Sharda's hat-trick, plus he had the likes of Verts and triple Everton defence. Paul says, I'm yet to find anyone worse than this. A 300k red arrow, 29 points all out. And his only returns were Thiago's assist and Anderson's clean sheet. Really rough. It's not a bad team at all. FPL Noah says, I took a -8 and says, 36 points with the -8, so 28 points all out, 561k to 920k. Again, a solid team, and it was just one of those weeks where there was a particular combination of players that blanked, and if you owned loads of those in combination, it was a brutal week. Last one, Manir says, not bad but could be better. I mean, it couldn't be much better. Manir finished on 84 points all out after bench boosting. Got a little bit unlucky with Ballard missing out injured, but 84 points is a huge score in what was a low scoring game week otherwise. The average score was 44 points, so you almost doubled it. Thanks for the submissions everyone. Let's run through the team for Game Week 19 and transfer plans. Although Villa are on an unbelievable run of 11 wins in a row, Arsenal are actually top of the Game Week 19 bookies clean sheet odds, given a 50% chance. Second is Man United home to Wolves, and then it's Liverpool and Man City joint third, and then it's Newcastle, Chelsea, Forest and Palace. Villa are going to be missing both Cash and Camera for a yellow card suspension, who could be big misses for this game. It's a back four this week, which is Van Dijk, O'Reilly, Timber and Anderson. So yeah, Timber not in the Arsenal squad. The rumours are that it was just a precautionary measure and he's expected to be back. Though we're not going to hear from Arteta in his press conference before the deadline. Not that he'd give us anything honest or useful. So unless we get training pictures of him or something like that, then it's going to be down to unofficial sources like this, which could be wrong. I might be reading into it too much, but there might have been some logic to giving him the Brighton game off, because he played in the League Cup just before that. White and Mascara are still out, so they're probably going to have to start Timber on the 30th of December, the 3rd of Jan and the 8th of Jan, and then there's the FA Cup and League Cup straight after that. So he does need managing. Maybe they felt like Brighton home is the one game they could afford to rest him in before some trickier games and a busier period. But I would have expected him to at least make the bench, so who knows. Anyway, a decision to make with Timber transfer-wise this week. O'Reilly's ended up literally the worst scoring of the 4 Man City defenders over the last 4 game weeks. The other 3 have all got attacking returns over that run, plus bonus points. I've got to stick it out with O'Reilly though. It's just way too much of a luxury transfer right now to consider switching to Vardy or Ruben Diaz or Nunes. Lego Mane makes awesome fixture ticker graphics. This one shows all the competitions, including cups, plus it's got colour coordination based on recovery periods for every team between games. It really helps to kind of visualise just how hectic the schedule is right now. Like, I do wonder if Ake gets a start at some point in this run, when you look at Man City especially and how busy their schedule is. I just hope it's for Vardy or not O'Reilly if it happens. So those teams in particular that have got 3 red bars in a row could have particular rotation risk. So Man City, Brentford, Fulham, Palace, Spurs, Leeds and Sunderland. Van Dijk's been pretty painful as well actually lately, conceding to the worst team in the league last game week and then conceding to 10-man Spurs the game before that. They are winning games, but the lack of clean sheets isn't great. I think I'm probably going to keep him until at least Game Week 22 when they've got Burnley home, and then I'll make a call on him. Maybe then it'll be time for Gabriel in. Obviously so many games on a quick succession can affect the quality of football, or the attacking football at least, so I wouldn't mind some low scoring games if it does mean more clean sheets this week, considering how horrendously last game week went as well at the back. Palace away could be a good fixture for Defcon for Anderson actually. He's averaging exactly 11 Defcons per 90 this season, which ranks 3rd best in the league after Senesi and Collins. Keane, by the way, is actually doing better than Tarkowski for way cheaper so far this season in terms of Defcons per 90. The midfield trio is Foden, Saka and Cunha. Cunha captain this week. This one does seem quite close because Sunderland isn't a bad fixture for City at all, and it could be a game that Haaland thrives in. They battered them at the Etihad. Sunderland just conceded 2.17 expected goals home to Leeds last game week. Last time I went against Haaland, it did backfire as well with Bruno blanking. He did get the Defcon, but that was it. But he did go on to show exactly why Bruno can be captain material, and there are opportunities to go against Haaland. He's registered 3.4 non-pen XGI Cunha over the last 4 game weeks. Haaland for comparison 1.99. Cunha's got a good chance of taking any pens in Bruno's absence as well. And lastly, Saka and Foden. I mean, Saka really should have had more from that Brighton game. He put a chance on the plate for Martinelli late on, which Martinelli skied, and that would have been maximum bonus as well. He took 7 shots that game, which is more than any player last game week as well. All 7 were in the box. Rice actually ended up matching him with that assist from a corner, which was an own goal. I'm happy to keep the faith in Saka for a while longer, and then maybe I'll pivot to Bruno or Palmer. The front 3 is Ekitike, Thiago and Haaland. We've got good coverage of the top clean sheet odds, and also good coverage of the projected goals this week, which hopefully leads to some good points this time round. Man United are top with 2.4 goals, and then it's Chelsea, Liverpool and City joint second with 2.1, and then it's Arsenal 2.0. We'll have to see how the next few game weeks go between Saka and Ekitike, because I'm not opposed to actually swapping Ekitike to Palmer or Bruno instead after that Burnley game, rather than swapping Saka out. Though yeah, with 8 goals, 2 assists this season for Ekitike, despite limited minutes, he is showing how he could be a really good hold for a while. He's averaging a goal involvement every 104 minutes this season. Thiago's turned into a bit of a differential for me again. He banged in 5 goals and 3 straight after I bought him back in Gameweek 11 to Gameweek 13, only for the returns to kind of have dried up coincidentally just when he became 10 play again. An assist against Bournemouth though was promising, and hopefully he can kick on again now that his ownership's starting to plummet again. Spurs home next, which isn't going to be an easy game. Spurs have actually kept 5 clean sheets away, which is more than any team. Haaland vice-captain then. I really need to think this one over fully because the rank downside is pretty huge. It was a brutal red arrow going Bruno captain over him that week that Haaland smashed in 14 points. The captain widget has got Cunha on 5 stars though, Haaland on 4, so I think I'm likely to put my money where my mouth is and back the widget, so it's Cunha captain, Haaland vice. The bench is Dubravka, Lafay, Mukiele and Barr. Just about the only positive last game it was Lafay did avoid that 5th yellow, but it's a shocking bench this week really. He did take a few corners and he also took an indirect free kick, so that was what I bought him for ultimately. Just kind of hope to get lucky off one of those routes to points when he is starting in my team. Plus there's the penalties if they win one, but yeah, this week he's first on the bench. So 1 free transfer, nothing in the bank, 0.0 mil. I really want to get some rolled transfers again, because obviously it does make you significantly more flexible when you've got some transfers banked, and you never know when you're going to need them. Especially if I do end up wanting to do Ekitike to Palmer or Bruno, I'm going to need 2 transfers to do that. So yeah, therefore the plan is to roll this week. It was a bit aggressive making the 3 transfers last week, using up all 3, which was for Cunha and Ekitike, but it did feel like the team could have the potential to roll a few more transfers, and also besides that, I kind of felt like I could get to a setup that very few out there have. So basically, you know, Foden, Saka, Cunha, Ekitike, Thiago and Haaland all in one team, plus a few premium defenders. So I wanted to go for it, but it went pretty horrendously the first game week with all those players in combination. So we'll have to see how it goes in future game weeks. But just to show you some future game weeks then, this is on Plan FPL. So this will be Gameweek 19 here, which will be a roll. This would be in Gameweek 20, so Lafay would come back into the 11, or it could be Mukiele, either of those two. Again, it could be a roll if no issues come up in the team. Gameweek 21 is a little bit rough because Arsenal and Liverpool face one another. So Mukiele could start with a Van Dijk at least for that one, and then potentially roll again. Gameweek 22, again in theory, it doesn't really have any pressing issues when I look at it here. It could be Cunha to Szoboszlai perhaps, because that's the week when Cunha's got Man City, whereas Szoboszlai's got Burnley home. So let's say in theory I do that, and then in Game Week 23 it could be a roll after that. That team looks perfectly fine to me there. And then we get to Game Week 24 with a bit of money in the bank and a load of transfers. So that could be the week where Palmer comes in for Saka, and by that point I'll be on 4 or 5 transfers again. But yeah, obviously the asterisk against all of this plan is assuming nothing goes wrong, I could roll, but usually it does go wrong, doesn't it? So we'll see. Let us know in the comments how you got on last game week, and thank you as always for watching. Make sure you subscribe and see you soon for the next one.